Hey folks, it's Bad Brad Berkwood, the host of the Bad Brad Berkwood Show. And this is another RSR video email bag. Forget about it. But before we get into your questions, forget about it. We got to do a couple things. First off, make sure you subscribe to the RSR YouTube channel so you can get all of our latest videos because we're doing quite a bit of them, folks. Forget about it. We also are going to be doing the Bad Brad Berkwood Show soon. I mentioned it yesterday. We're about to shoot, so you don't want to miss these interviews that are coming up. Forget about it. There's a lot of people that you know, a lot of people that you don't know are going to be on the show. So make sure you tune in, and again, subscribe to the RSR YouTube channel. Now, for my viewers that ask me about my book, Boxing Interviews of a Lifetime, by this guy sitting here with the fedora and the hoop earring and the beard and so on, forget about it. This is the book. It is available at authorhouse.com, and that is where you can go and pick it up wholesale because we're all about you saving the Benjamins because we don't know what you want to do with those extra Benjamins. You may want to go out and buy a fedora. Forget about it. But again, Boxing Interviews of a Lifetime. It's a compilation of interviews that I did over a 3-year period that I think you'll really enjoy. Now, let's get into this email bag with your questions because there's some good ones, folks. Let's start out like this. Bad Brad, forget about it. I love when the viewers say, forget about it. Did I spell it right? You sure did spell it right, pal. Long-time viewer and dig the straight, no bullshit way, you're taking my word, answer that you give for viewer questions. Where do you think Wilfred Benitez rates on the all-time list of welterweights in boxing history? Signed, Russ A. from Yonkers, New York. Forget about it, Yonkers. Hey, I love Yonkers. I used to go to Yonkers Raceway. Russ made a few fazools over the day, I should say back in the day, betting on a few horses. And what I like about Yonkers Raceway, at least back in the 80s, forget about it, they had carriage racing. That's my favorite type of horse racing. I also, on April 15, 1985, saw with my Uncle Gene, yes, the Italian side of the family, forget about it, Hagler Hearns, not pay-per-view, closed circuit. It was a great night. My Uncle Gene got bombed, but we were thrilled to death that Marvin Hagler won, even though I like Tommy Hearns as well. Now, let me answer your question. Wilfred Benitez, I think it was El Radar, one of the best ever. Forget about it. I'm going to say in the top 10 welterweights of all time, when it came to defense, Wilfred was legendary. One of the best defensive fighters I've ever seen. No, not Floyd, Make It Rain Mayweather, even though he is good too with his shoulder roll and stuff. Wilfred to me was even better than Floyd. Now, the problem that Wilfred had was he won a title at 17 years old. Can you believe that? The youngest ever against Antonio Cervantes. But as great as he was, he burned out quickly at the age of about 23, 24. He was starting to get past his prime after he fought. He destroyed Maurice Hope. Now, he moved up and he knocked out Maurice Hope from Maurice Hope's title. But by the time he fought Duran and he beat Duran decision, but in about 82 time frame, he was pretty much going downhill. He wound up losing to Mustafa Hamsha. He lost to some other guy, Davey Moore, a couple other guys. And of course, we know he lost to Sugar Ray Leonard in '79, but he still was in his prime then. No embarrassment there. I put him in the top 10. Sadly, he suffers from, I believe it's pugilistic dementia, and he's in a nursing home in Puerto Rico, of all places, and his state actually takes care of him. Or the island of Puerto Rico, or whatever you say. But he was a great fighter in his day, an exciting, good-looking guy when he was young. It's sad to see him in the state that he's in. And another reason why I'm so much for, I should say, a mandatory retirement fund. Forget about it. Great question, Russ A. from Yonkers, New York. Next question. Bad Brad, I love how you talk on so many different things like old TV shows, music, and personal tidbits when you answer viewers' questions on your show. My question is it true that Tony Danza used to box, or was all that just made up for the show Taxi? Signed, Teresa C., Buffalo, New York. I love when the ladies send in questions. Forget about it. From Buffalo, New York, Teresa C. It's kind of a New York flavor in this particular bag today. Well, Tony Danza was an actual fighter. He fought, and I believe he fought a couple times in the Garden. And if you remember that great episode of Taxi when he played, I think it was Tony Banta, and Carlos Palomino, who was the welterweight champion, wind up, I think he knocked him out. It was a funny skit, though. But Tony did fight. I believe he had a winning record. I can't remember what weight class. I want to say he was a middleweight, but I could be incorrect in that. But he definitely was a professional. And he's a heck of a nice guy. We actually interviewed him a long time ago for Ringside Report. Huge boxing fan. Multi-talented. He can sing, he can dance, he can act, can do comedy. Great guy from all accounts. Okay, so there's the answer to your question. All right, last question, folks. Bad Brad. Hands down, Ringside Report has the best writers in the sport of boxing today. Well, thank you. That's a very high compliment. I appreciate that. You guys are diverse. Hey, my favorite word, diversity. You read my mind, forget about it. Call it like you see it, and don't cheerlead behind a particular fighter, even if they are your personal favorite. I love the heavyweights so much that I pray that Mike Tyson gets in shape and makes a comeback. I know this is a pipe dream, but do you think even at the age of 49, if he did, could he make it to the top once again? Signed, Daryl T. from Stafford, Virginia. Wow, Daryl T. from Stafford, Virginia. Well, thank you for sending in your question. Honestly, I don't think that Mike Tyson is ever going to come back. However, I'm going to entertain the thought that he just may, though I know he's not going to. If Mike Tyson came back even at the age of 49 and got in some type of shape, his name and popularity, forget about it, is so big and so popular around the world. And he's so loved again, because remember, he was loved, hated, and loved again. Well, he's back being loved again by a lot of people. We were around him and did an interview with him and covered his card in November, and I can tell you firsthand, the people love him. I mean, and he's great with his fans. There's no airs. I have not seen him act stuck up, unless you're an asshole like that guy that bum rushed him on that show up in, I think it was in Canada, and Mike gave it to him right back, and I backed Mike 1,000% on what he did, because the guy was wrong. He was a freaking jack-off, a hockey puck, a triple hockey puck, the reporter was. But if he got in shape and he matched him with some guys that he could beat, then moved him up fairly quickly, because he is an older guy. And well, he's not older, he's a much older guy. And he does a little something, something. I think he could actually get in line or in contention for a title shot. Do I think he can beat Vladimir Klitschko? If he lands a good punch, hey, good night, Irene. But I don't think he's going to be able to. And I don't think his heart is in it. And he said it himself. Would I love to see him come back? I'm on the fence there. Yes, because I love the sport of boxing. It would bring so much publicity to the sport, like Mayweather-Pacquiao did. But as a 47-year-old man and watching Mike and being a family man and watching Mike with his family and his kids, I don't want to see him come back. I think he's right now, and I don't know him personally, but I'm talking about watching him like everybody else does, and I do know some people that are very close to him that I can say. It looks like Mike is in the best place that he's ever been in his life personally. So I don't want him to come back to boxing. I'm not selfish to the point that I want to see him come back. I want to see him enjoy his life, enjoy his family, and spend his remaining years out of boxing. Okay? So there's my answer to your question. Thank you again, Daryl from Stafford, Virginia, from writing in. Forget about it. And folks, if you have a question for me, you can send it in to Ringside Report 2014 at gmail.com. That's Ringside Report 2014. Forget about it. No, there's no forget about it in there. At gmail.com. We don't cherry pick. I answer all your questions. Every single one. Good, bad, or indifferent. Forget about it. And as we always do, that's another show in the can. And as Frank Sinatra sang so eloquently so long ago, the best is yet to come. Bad Brad out.